The Crow's Quest for True Happiness. Once upon a time, in a vast and peaceful forest, there lived a crow named Tiko. Tiko had glossy black feathers, sharp eyes, and strong wings. Yet despite his beauty and strength, he was not happy. He looked around at the other animals, seeing how full of life they were. The squirrels hopped from tree to tree with joy, the deer moved with grace, and the songbirds filled the air with melodies. Tiko felt like something was missing in his life. He did not know what, but he was sure there was something more to happiness than just flying and searching for food. One quiet morning, as Tiko sat on a branch of his favourite tree, deep in thought, he saw an old owl named Olwen perched nearby. Olwen was known throughout the forest for being wise and calm, and Tiko decided to ask her for help. Olwen, Tiko called softly, "I see all the animals around me so happy, but no matter what I do not feel truly happy. Can you tell me how to find it?" Olwen blinked slowly and smiled. "Happiness is not something you find, Tiko. It is something you create. If you truly wish to find it, you must go on a journey, not across the land, but within yourself." Tiko was puzzled, but felt that he needed to go on this journey. "Where do I start?" he asked. "Start by looking around you," Olwen advised. "You will meet many others on your way, and each one will teach you something valuable." Listen carefully. With these words, Tiko took off into the sky. He flew high over the trees, past rivers and across meadows, determined to find the secret to happiness. Soon Tiko came upon a group of rabbits hopping joyfully in a field. The rabbits were playing together, laughing and enjoying the sunshine. Tiko asked, "Why are you so happy?" One of the rabbits, named Nia, looked up at him and smiled. "We are happy because we are together," she said. "When we are with friends and family, we feel safe and joyful." Tiko thought for a moment. He had always been alone, flying from place to place, never really spending time with anyone. Perhaps Nia was right. Happiness might come from being with others. But Tiko felt there was more to it. He thanked the rabbits and continued on his journey. Flying further, Tiko reached a large open field where he saw a majestic lion resting in the shade. The lion looked powerful and calm, his golden mane shining in the sunlight. Tiko landed nearby and asked, "Lion, I have seen so many animals happy in their own way. What do you think makes them so joyful?" The lion looked at him with wise eyes and replied, "Happiness is strength, young crow. When you are strong, you can take control of your life. You can protect yourself and those you love. Strength gives you power, and power brings happiness." Tiko considered the lion's words. Strength was something he had always valued, but he wasn't sure it was the only thing that led to happiness. Tiko bowed his head and thanked the lion before continuing his journey. As he flew over the meadow, Tiko spotted an ant dragging a large piece of food, much bigger than itself. The tiny creature struggled, but kept moving forward with determination. Tiko, curious, landed beside the ant and asked, "Why do you work so hard, little ant? Don't you ever get tired?" The ant paused for a moment and replied, "Happiness is in the hard work we do. When we work hard, we accomplish our goals, and that gives us satisfaction. Happiness comes from the pride we take in what we achieve." Tiko thought about this, and while he admired the ant's dedication, he didn't feel that hard work alone could bring true happiness. He was beginning to understand that there were many different ways to find happiness, but none of them felt quite right for him. Tiko continued flying through the forest, feeling more and more confused. He had learned a lot from the animals he met, but he still couldn't find the happiness he was searching for. Tired and feeling lost, he perched on a tall tree to rest as the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the land. Tiko realized something important. He had spent so much time looking outward, searching for answers from others, that he had forgotten to look inside himself. Perhaps the key to happiness wasn't something he could find in others or in strength or hard work. Perhaps happiness was something he could create by accepting himself just as he was, by being content with the life he had. In that quiet moment, as the cool evening breeze ruffled his feathers, Tiko understood happiness wasn't about being with others all the time, or being the strongest, or working endlessly. It was about finding peace in oneself, embracing who you are, and appreciating the world around you. True happiness, Tiko realized, came from within. The next day, Tiko returned to the wise owl Olwen, who greeted him with a knowing smile. "So have you found it?" she asked. Tiko nodded his heart light with understanding. "Yes," he said, "happiness is not something I need to search for outside myself. It is something I must create by accepting who I am and appreciating what I have. Happiness is within me." Olwen smiled warmly. "You are wise now, Tiko. You see, true happiness comes when we stop seeking it in the wrong places and start looking inside ourselves. That is the real journey." From that day forward, Tiko lived happily. Not because he found something new, but because he learned to appreciate the simple beauty of life around him and the joy that came from within. The lesson of the story: true happiness is not something we can find in others, in strength, or in hard work alone. It comes from within, from accepting ourselves and appreciating what we already have. Happiness is created when we look inward and find peace with who we are.